This is News with the Disney Dude. Please like this video, subscribe to my channel for more content, and please hit that thumbs up if you like the video. Here now is the news for Friday, October 17th of 2025. And I begin first off with a rant here. So the Figment audio animatronic on Journey into Imagination has been replaced with a limited movement figure. So this audio animatronic is the one that appears after you leave the smell lab and right before you enter Figment's house. So the regular figure is he's usually the one that is he's waving at you, and Dr. Nigel Channing says that after Figment stinks up the smell lab, that he doesn't want to. He wants to end the tour right there. And Figment says, well, let's go to my open house instead. So it's that audio animatronic. That audio animatronic it's most of the time it doesn't work. So I assume that they're fixing this audio animatronic. Maybe it broke, but now it's replaced by a limited movement, much chubbier version of Figment. Look, I think that's outrageous. That is outrageous. Look, if that audio animatronic keeps giving you trouble, maybe it is a sign that we need a new Figment ride. It is time for a brand new, updated, different version of Journey into Imagination. And maybe that's maybe that's the ride's way of saying it's time. It is time for a brand new version of this ride. All right. So, I understand things are going to break. Things are going to, it's just that's the nature of the beast. Things are going to break. But if you're going to replace it with a limited movement figure, come on now. Come on. I mean, that's just dumb. That's just dumb. All right? It looks awful. He looks terrible. He does not look like the Figment that we all know and love. He's very chubby. It looks bad. It really looks bad. I'm sorry, Disney. But if that was the case, then maybe you should have just shut the ride down. Shut the ride down, and waited a couple days and replace, and fix this audio animatronic, So, come on. Come on. I expect so much more from this company than just a half-ass, a half-ass excuse. All right? And that's what this is. That's what this is. It's really a lame, it's so bad. It is so bad. So if you've ridden, I haven't personally been on the ride. I haven't seen it, but if any of you have been on it and have seen this limited movement audio animatronic, let me know how you feel. Let me know how you feel about it. I just think it looks terrible. It looks terrible. I'm sorry, but if a ride should not function that way. A ride should not function that way. Okay? I understand you want to keep it open for capacity's sake. I get it. We're entering that time of year, but the guests aren't, if if the guests go in and ride these rides and they don't look up to par, up to snuff, they're going to feel cheated. They're going to feel cheated. All right? So if you close the ride down, fix the audio animatronics, make them, look pristine and up to par, then the guests aren't going to care. The guests aren't going to care. They're going to, they will gladly give you money for, a better park day. So, I've said this, and a bunch of other people have said this as well. Walt Disney World maintenance is abysmal. It is abysmal. It's getting better. It is getting better. But things like this is just unacceptable. Unacceptable, and it's outrageous. Just outrageous. So let me know how you feel in the comments. But, I mean, come on. Come on. If an audio animatronic is giving you that much problems, close the ride down and make sure that it's working up to par. Okay? Or better yet, Disney, give us a new, better Figment ride. Give us a new, better Figment dark ride than the one that we have now. Because the one we have now it's not great, and it's showing its age. It is telling you that it is time. It is time for a brand new version of this ride. So I really hope that Disney, I really hope that they really, pay attention to this. Does it mean they're going to, update this ride? No. Are they going to, now, sooner or later they'll fix the auto animatronic, but they really need to just redo the ride. They just need to gut the ride, tear it down, and start all over, because it's not working. It is not working. The other day I actually made them close this ride, because the other day I was on Journey into Imagination with Figment, and the very first audio animatronic of Figment, when he's on the telephone, when he pops up out of the whatever it is, the box or something, and he's on the telephone with Dr. Nigel Channing, that audio animatronic, the body was turned all the way around. The body, so like, if my body was faced all the way around and if my face was faced this way, that's what it was. That's what it was. And I'm looking at it and I'm like, come on, that's just stupid. That is stupid. And maybe they didn't know. Maybe they didn't know. So I got off the ride and I was like, hey, you know what? You need to look at the very first audio animatronic of Figment, because his body's turned all the way around and it just doesn't look good. It does not look good. So Disney listened to me and they shut the ride down and they fixed it. But, I mean, it's still, this ride's still giving them problems, still giving them issues. So maybe it is time. Maybe it is time for a new version of Journey into Imagination with Figment. Maybe it is time. It is time for a brand new version of this ride. But, let me know how you feel. But that's my feeling on those are my feelings on it. I wanted to get that rant out of the way first, so, because I have a lot of news to cover, but, it's pretty sad that the state of this ride is becoming pretty bad. I mean, Frozen, for God's sake, Frozen Ever After is getting brand new audio animatronics. Why can't you fix the Figment ride? Why can't Disney figure out that they need to fix Journey into Imagination? Just saying. Alright. Now we're going to move on to some breaking news. So Remy's Ratatouille Adventure at Epcot is getting an update. It's no longer going to be in 3D. It's not going to be purely 2D. So when you go through the ride, you will not be using the 3D goggles or 3D glasses. It's going to be a totally just a plain 2D ride instead of a 3D experience. So and this is not really anything, it's not, but this is going to enhance the guest experience. It's going to enhance it because, there's a lot of motion sickness people out there that, can't do 3D stuff because it messes them up, so I think this is great. This is great. Now, this ride needs to be, I think, gutted and started over again as well. I like the sets. I really like the sets, and without the 3D glasses, you're going to appreciate the sets more. You are absolutely going to appreciate those sets now. But it's all screen-based. There's no audio animatronics, so it's like, I would have appreciated, having audio animatronics, but I think this is great. I really think this is going to be a good update for folks. Demolition has begun on Disney's Hollywood Studios archway. So the iconic archway that has been a part of Disney MGM Studios since the beginning is now being demolished. It is now being demolished, and you're going to now completely see into that courtyard. There's going to be no archway blocking it. You're going to be able to see all the way inside. Now, look, I'm going to miss the archway. I don't really like the new, when MGM Studios went through the name change to Disney's Hollywood Studios, I don't really like the wording on there, the font on that sign. So I'm going to miss the archway, but on the other hand, it's like, yeah, I didn't really like the, I really missed the old sign with Mickey Mouse and the movie clapboard that said Disney MGM Studios. So I'm gonna miss the archway. I'm not gonna miss the Disney Hollywood Studios word mark. This is another one of those things where I'm sad it's going. I understand you want to get people back there. You want, people to know their stuff back there, like The Little Mermaid, like the new animation experience that's coming, the new Disney Junior show that's coming. So I understand you want to, have people go back there because, a lot of people don't even know what's back there because they can't see. So, this is one of those where it's like, I'm sad we're losing, some more history of MGM Studios. On the other hand, I get it. This park just gets, every bit of heart and soul of this park is being ripped out. We have lost so much in this park. We lost the Great Movie Ride. We lost the Tram Tour. We lost Muppet Vision 3D. We've lost Lights, Motors, Action Stunt Show. We're losing the archway. We're losing so much in this park, and it is a shame. It is really a shame because this is my favorite Walt Disney World theme park. It really is. And a lot of people are like, why? Why is it? Because I know a lot of the cast members there. And, I really like it because it's small, it's intimate, it's easy to navigate. And again, I know a lot of the cast members there, so it's great to go and visit them. But I have always said that if they get rid of Beauty and the Beast, Indiana Jones, Fantasmic, Muppet Vision 3D, then, and The Little Mermaid, I would never come back. I would never go back to that park. I would never go back. And that list is getting shorter. That list is getting shorter. And Disney, I'm looking at you. You better not be coming for my Indiana Jones Epic Stunt Spectacular show. I love that show. I love the cast members. Those cast members I know more than so many others. Because, again, I went to the 35th celebration of of Indiana Jones Epic Stunt Spectacular. I know these people, they mean so much. They mean so much to me. And, if we ever do lose them, that would really be a shame. That would really, really be a shame. So, I really hope to God that Disney will, at least for a very long time, not get rid of the Indiana Jones Epic Stunt Spectacular. All right. So it's, but every inch of this park, the executives are like, nothing will remain. Nothing will remain of Disney MGM Studios. Everything must go. And that's very sad. That is very, very sad. All right? To get rid of, getting rid of the Great Movie Ride, I was very upset. I still am upset about it. Most of the people probably don't know those movies, but you could have updated the attraction. That would have solved your problems. The tram tour, I get it. Maybe not a lot of people, got that. Toy Story Land, I don't really like that anyway. It's garbage. I don't like that land. So, was it a worthy replacement? No. To the average guest, yes. To the average guest, they love it. Absolutely. To us hardcore Disney fans, we're like, meh, it's blah. It's bleh. It's not great. Replacing Lights, Motors, Action, Stunt Show with Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, I didn't really agree with, but I understand. Because that park has picked up a lot because of Star Wars. But the heart and soul of that park is just being ripped out. And another thing we've lost is the citizens of Hollywood. That's another thing we've lost. So everything that we love about this park just keeps getting ripped out and taken away from us. So, there's going to come a time when I'm going to say that I would probably never go back to Hollywood Studios again, and it's probably not going to be my favorite theme park anymore. But I really hope that doesn't happen for a long time. I really, really hope not. Last Star Wars Galactic Star Cruiser sign has finally been removed from Walt Disney World. So, when they got rid of the Galactic Star Cruiser, they had to get rid of the signs and everything. Now they've finally gotten rid of the last sign. So, I don't want to say that's great, but, because I never got to experience Galactic Star Cruiser, but, I know a lot of people that really hurt them, that they got rid of it, so, but, if you did do the Star Cruiser, let me know. Let me know the experience, because I'm always interested, I'm interested in learning about that experience, because I never got to experience it. Grand Floridian traffic circle construction takes shape at Walt Disney World. So right behind right in that right by the Polynesian and the wedding pavilion, right behind that area is they are rerouting traffic. They're trying to relieve congestion off that road. So if you are headed that way, just plan on that. Plan on a few extra minutes there, okay? Lightning Lane service is going to be added for Zootopia Better Together at Disney's Animal Kingdom. This is great. It's a 9-minute film, so do you really need a lightning lane? Nah, I don't know. For the first couple months, you probably absolutely will, because it's going to be busy. But but it will be soon added to Lightning Lane Multipass and the Premier Pass as well. And if you buy, and I don't really like to promote the Premier Pass, but if you do buy the Premier Pass, you're guaranteed one Lightning Lane for every single attraction in the park. So you will be guaranteed a Lightning Lane for Zootopia Better Together if you don't want to buy the Multi-Pass. All right? Astro Orbiter ride is now suffering from major malfunction despite recent refurb at the Magic Kingdom. So it's been my understanding that the rocket ships haven't been going all the way up. They've been kind of been in the middle. So it's like Dumbo, Flying Carpets of Aladdin, rides of that where, it takes you up high and you spin around. It's been my understanding that it hasn't been lifting all the way up. It's been kind of going in the middle. And that's not great. That's not great. You just you tore that whole thing down. You just rebuilt it, and it's already malfunctioning. So, come on, Disney. I mean, you can't figure that out? And I understand we are entering the busy time of year, so you need capacity. But again, if your guests are going to get the full experience of the ride, they're not going to be upset that the ride is closed. Okay, if you cheat them, then and then they're gonna be pissed off. Then they're gonna be pissed off. All right, but if everything, like I touched on this with my Figment story, if you make these parks looking their best, looking pristine, the rides look great, the guests the guests are going to have a better day. The guests are going to have a better day because of that. Okay? If rides malfunction or if animatronics break, and if the ride functions with broken audio animatronics or broken effects, then the guests are going to feel cheated. The guests are going to feel cheated, and then that makes them not want to come back. And look, Walt Disney World is already in the minority on this. The average guest of this park comes once in a lifetime, maybe twice, and they don't come back. So we're already in the minority here. Okay? We're not California, we're not Tokyo, we're not Shanghai, we're not France. Walt Disney World is in the minority. We are so different than any other Disney theme park around the world. Okay? We have more tourism here than any other theme parks. So things need to work for them. Things need to work for them. Otherwise, they're going to, be like, well, that ride wasn't great. That wasn't great. What are people talking about? That wasn't so great. So you need to have things work. absolutely, you need to have things work and running at their best. All right. Because again, we're already in the minority. People come once in a lifetime, maybe twice, and that's it. That is it. They're never coming back. So, but, the word of mouth will go around that, hey, that ride is, when I was there, that ride didn't work. So I wouldn't recommend going on that. The word of mouth is, and especially in this age with the vlogging age and the, everything on social media, things get around a lot more quick. Things get around a lot more quickly. So, and Disney pays attention to this. They pay attention to, us, bloggers and vloggers doing this. And they absolutely pay attention to those guest surveys. So, if a ride isn't working to its full potential, go to guest services and fill out a form and say, look, this is not working. You need to fix this. Okay? And it's unacceptable for the ride to work this way. All right? But please do it in a good manner. Please do it in a nice manner and not, in a nasty demeanor. Okay? But, it's, but, on the other hand, if I always go back to Walt Disney's quote on this, where if you cheat the guests, you're never going to see them again. And I truly, honestly believe that that's the case. That is the case, whether that's Walt Disney World, Disneyland, or any of the other parks. All right? And Walt Disney World is already in that minority of people come once, maybe twice, that's it. Okay? Disney blocks historic labor strike by food service employees at Epcot. So, the food workers at Epcot, like at the Italy Pavilion, they are unionized. All right, so they were not getting compensated well. They were not getting good benefits. So they were, they were like, hey, we need to be compensated better. And they were going to move to strike. Well, as it turns out, in the union contract, they're not allowed to strike. All right. So, they couldn't strike even if they wanted to. But I really hope that, they figure this out. That they figure this out, because people need to be compensated better. This is 2025. We are in a very, how do I say this? We are in the age now, I'm trying to say this as diplomatic as I can. We are in a stage right now where everything around the world costs more. Not just Disney. This is not just in the theme park realm. Everything costs more. Gas, groceries, housing, everything. Every single thing in this world has gone sky high. So we are in, a very, I would say a very bad, a very kind of iffy time right now. So, people need to make a living. They have to pay the rent, they have to pay the gas, they have to pay the electricity, they have to pay the cable, they have to pay all kinds of things. So, these companies need to start compensating better. They really, really do. And I will say that, because I used to work for Kroger, and Kroger was a union. We weren't allowed to strike either. Okay? We weren't allowed to, go on strike either. So it's not just, that union that has that rule. That's probably every union that has that rule, is you cannot go on strike. So it's very sad to see these, these workers that aren't getting compensated well. So I really hope that they get get what they ask for, what they need, because we're living in a time where everything costs more. Everything costs more. So I really hope that they get what they want. I really, really do. I'm really pulling for them. Should they, picket in the park? No, because that's not a good look. That's not a good look if you, going on strike and picketing are two different things. Okay? So they can picket if they want to, but I really hope that they don't go picketing in the parks, because that's not a good look. That is not a good look for them, and it's not a good look for Disney either. So I really hope that they figured this out. I really, really do. Return date has been set for the 2025 the Jungle Cruise overlay at the Magic Kingdom. It's returning earlier than ever this year. It will be back on November 3rd, which is great. I really love that overlay. It's great. I have a video of that up on my channel if you want to take a look at that. But I really love that overlay. Disneyland in California used to do that, and then they budget cut it. So they don't do it anymore. We're the only ones that do it now. So I'm really happy and glad, and I really hope to God that doesn't go away either. Because the Jingle Cruise overlay is one of the highlights, to me, of the holiday season. Star Wars launch bay sign has been removed at Disney's Hollywood Studios. So that side of the, the whole animation courtyard is really going through a change and everything. So now there's no sign for Star Wars launch bay anymore. And I'm sure some people are gonna, argue with me and be like, oh, I'm gonna miss it, I'm gonna miss it and everything, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, I'm sorry, but that was wasted space. That was wasted space. Alright? It was not a good area. Pre-COVID, it was a little better because they had the short film, they had the meet and greets, they had all kinds of stuff in that area. And then post-COVID, it was like, they got rid of the film, so that was gone. They had the meet and greets, but it was like, you could have, it's like, you can just move those to Galaxy's Edge. Move Darth Vader, BB-8, Chewbacca, move them to Galaxy's Edge and do something with that space. And I'm glad that they are. I'm glad that they are doing something with that space, because that launch bay area was garbage. That was garbage. And again, I'm sure someone's gonna argue with me, but I don't care. I don't care. That area was nah. Okay? Construction walls and scrim have finally been removed from Toy Story Mania exit for almost after 4 years. 4 long, grueling years. And the time it took, 4 years is, to put this in perspective, 4 years is how long it takes to do an animated film. Okay? It took 4 years to get all of this construction done in the time to make a Disney animated film. What? Why did it take 4 years to do this? Why? I have no idea. I have no idea. I am so glad that the construction is over and everything is back to normal, but come on. 4 years for a small area? Give me a break. Give me a break. And I'm sure someone in the comments is going to go, well, it's going to take, at least, 10 to 20 years to, to build, the Magic Kingdom expansion and blah, blah. But that's a huge area. That is a huge area that they are building on. Huge. Okay? So that's going to take them a long time to do. This is just a small area. It took them 4 years just to fix or do whatever they had to do in this area. So come on. I'm not giving them a pass for 4 years over a small construction area. Give me a break. Give me a break. Fort Langhorne has been demolished to make way for the Magic Kingdom expansion. So the everything on Tom Sawyer Island on the other side of the river is being demolished. The river obviously has been drained. The tracks are being removed. So they're moving on this thing. They're moving. They are, they're moving. But prepare to see those construction walls for a long time. For a long time. Because that's going to take forever. That's going to take a long time to do. Disney's Hollywood Studios begins preparing for holiday season. Effects have already been installed. So that's great. I love walking around Disney's Hollywood Studios at the holiday season. It's so pretty. It's like walking down Hollywood, the golden age of Hollywood during the holidays. It's like what you picture, the golden age of Hollywood and, the holidays and, the Santa, but, on the Coke bottles, drinking a bottle of Coke, it's just nostalgia for me, it's nostalgia. So I love walking around that area, during the holiday season. I don't get to enjoy it that much because, about the middle of December, toward the end, I think December 19th is the last day of my pass, which is kind of late, in my opinion, because that's only, 21, 22, only 6 days before Christmas. It's usually like a week. I usually get blocked out a week before, so, it's really interesting that my pass, ends on the 19th of December, because it usually ends like, December, a little earlier than that. Usually ends like the 16th or the 17th. So, but, but I can enjoy the ambiance of Disney's Hollywood Studios. And then my last story is I did live stream Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party. I have put that up on my channel, so you can go over and give that a watch. I am sorry that the quality is not great, especially toward the end. I think the Hocus Pocus Villain Spectacular is that part's fine. When I started to go to do the parade and everything, and the more busier it got, the more the quality was dropping. So I'm gonna have to take it take my phone off of Wi-Fi next time, and when I vlog around the parks, I'm gonna have to do it on just the network data instead of Wi-Fi. So then we'll, I'll have to try that next time and see if that works better than the Wi-Fi at Disney, because toward the end, that quality was really bad. It was really, really bad. So I apologize for that drop in quality. But you can go over and give that a watch. And, please enjoy that. Please like that video. And, please like this video as well. Please subscribe if you haven't already. I thank you guys very much for watching this video. You guys have a great rest of your day. I appreciate, all the watches, all of the likes, all of the comments. Please, keep them coming. Keep them coming. Let's enjoy the parks together, all right? So, I thank you guys very much for watching. You guys have a great rest of your day. You guys keep each other safe and healthy. And remember that tomorrow is just a dream away.